Paul Claros from Custom Fitness, licensed physical therapist. Thank you again for joining us with our daily maintenance segment number 12. And this is number 4 in our running prep series. So here we go. What we talked about in the last 3 episodes was we were trying to debunk some myths on how running and people with high volume running should kind of approach their training. Now, we said that what we wanted was heavy weights, low volume to increase running proficiency strength for the lower body. And then what we said was if you have any anterior knee pain, just some ways that we can kind of treat it and ways to be able to kind of work around it. Now, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the idea of iliotibial band syndrome or TFL syndrome. And Coach Paul is here from Custom Fitness, head coach. And we're going to just kind of talk about just general anatomy first and foremost. Coach, can you kind of step off that?
Sure.
All right, so what we're going to do is if you kind of stand right in here, you're going to go ahead and take your thumb, you're going to go ahead and put it right in there. The left leg is just going to go forward just slightly a bit, and all we're going to do is we're just going to kind of shake that leg back and forth. You'll feel muscle pop in and out, and what that is that's called the tensor fasciae latae. Latae, it's a pretty funny name, huh? And all that does is right in there. So in terms of anatomy, what it does is if we stand forward, we know that it's in charge to be able to go ahead and flex the hip. Go, coach. And then it also knows that it's to flex the hip, and to go rotate as well, internal rotate, and then go ahead and come on down. Then it also helps us be able to go to the side. Lastly, then if you go to just step out 30 degrees, and then you can kind of go in and out. It also helps at 30 degrees of knee flexion, kind of rotation again at that hip. Now, if you notice in this segment, it's a very, very, very small segment, but the problem is that when we have all these muscles that are not working the way they should, this little buddy tries to help out. And coach, what happens when that little buddy tries to help out?
He's not big enough.
He's not big enough. He definitely is not big enough. Now, when he's not big enough, guess what happens? This iliotibial band that is attached to, right? This thing just kind of inflames, and all of a sudden, this attachment all the way down to the lateral leg kind of inflames. It attaches right here on the lateral portion of this knee, and then all of a sudden, this whole area, every time you take a step, every time you're running, whether you're a cyclist, anything with this cyclical in nature, you get that sudden onset of pain. Like immediately right when you start running, it starts jabbing right in there.
Like needles, coach.
Like needles, and then obviously sometimes it then kind of refers right into that front of the knee. Now, the reason that's important because we have 3 ways, coach, that we're going to treat this. Now, do me a favor. We're going to stop for a second. How have you seen people treat this?
Hey, guess what, coach? Guess what came in the mail today, coach?
Oh, did you get that over quarantine?
I got it over quarantine.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do?
Oh man, look at this. Checking out, coach. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, does it go down the leg?
Oh yeah.
Right on that thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Over there.
So good.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What else have you seen, coach?
Oh man, look at this. Oh man, I bought a new foam roller. I'm just gonna kind of roll on this and look at me, coach. Look at me.
Go on the side, like most people do.
Yeah.
Right? So what they do is they literally just start to jam right there on the IT band.
Yeah. Oh,
right? And you okay. All right, coach. Okay, now we can stop that. Cool. Stop this nonsense. Now, here's the deal. Those may provide quick, instantaneous relief, but at the same time, it's not going to do anything because it doesn't change how that little muscle is trying to help these big muscles around it. So what we need to do, number 1, we have 3 steps, okay? So what we need to do is we're going to look at the structures that are involved in this. So we can look at the hip, we can look at the knee, and then we can look at the ankle. We want to look at the mobility of it. And so what we do, we have a simple stretch called the couch stretch. First of all, it's going to come and jump right in here. Right? So if we know that we have restriction with the hip, very, very simple. You can attach a band right in here, but for us, we're going to just go ahead and coach is going to go ahead and lift that back knee, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, by the way, coach, squeeze your glute right in here, and then all we're going to do is go ahead and push it right forward, just right in here. Again, if you had a band right in here and you're squeezing, this thing is pulling back, you're going to go ahead and feel a little bit of that mobilization, and coach is cool. Right? Because if you're good, and then all they want to be able to do is you can even use your opposite hand. So if I'm a wall coach, go ahead and show them how you would, this side, how you would just push right in there. We go. So we can literally start lining that up. And all this is basically a couch stretch right in here, imagine, right? Then we're just trying to get that going. Now, what we want to be able to do is, remember, that's just kind of getting that hip capsule to move. We also know that if we have any limitations within that angle, coach, go ahead and show me. We're going to go ahead. And remember, if you lack anywhere in terms of this dorsiflexion, you're going to get a lot of anterior knee pain. You can kind of refer back up to this hip. So all we're going to do is just go right over the top, keep the heel down, and you're just going to go ahead and just try to stretch that Achilles and that ankle junction right in here. two fairly easy things that we can do to kind of address the structure of it. We can also add a little bit. Coach, can we get down real quick? We're just going to go over there. We're going to face the camera real quick. Okay, right in here. We're going to just go right in here. There we go. And then we're just going to go ahead and take a half step out that way. You're going to take the right leg and go and put it behind. And then all we're going to do is reach up, and then we're going to shoot that hip out. Very nice stretch. We call this the Cali spine stretch. And all we're going to do is shoot that hip out. Coach, where are you feeling that stretch?
Right through this whole portion.
You're going to feel through that whole portion right there. And even we can get a little bit of that upper area in there. All right? Now, if you address any of those structure, either it's a mobility or flexibility issue, then we want to address kind of this activation issue. Coach, do me a favor. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and lay on the couch. Okay? And what we're going to do is just from this position. All right, all we're going to do is go ahead and come on down. We're going to go ahead and bend both knees, and then we're going to go ahead and extend this top leg right in here. So, Coach, guess what? All we want to do is put a little bit of rotation right in there, and we're just going to go ahead and lift for me. Now, a couple of things that we don't want is we don't want this hip rocking and rolling right in here. What we want to be able to do is, so Coach is going to go ahead and put his hand in there. Remember, comes right in here. Coach, going to hold. Ooh, look at the face already. Go ahead and come on down. And then go ahead and come on up. How's that feeling there, Coach?
Yes, Coach.
Very, very simple. Right, drill. You don't even need any weight for this. Then all we're going to do is, go ahead, Coach, you're going to come 60 degrees right in front. And again, we're going to do the same thing right in there. Gets a little bit of that glute max right in there. Yeah. So just a little bit of shift in this foot coming forward makes a huge difference. Then lastly, we can go ahead and come from here. And then we're going to go ahead and make like a check mark for me, Coach. You're going to overextend that. And guess what? He's going to almost not only go back, there we go, like he's going to kick the wall behind him, okay? Boom. Right in there. Coach, how are we doing with that?
Yeah.
We're doing okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, to be fair, going to go on, Coach. So we've addressed kind of the structure, either the mobility or the flexibility within the joint of the hip and also with the ankle. We did just a little bit of strengthening with just a little bit of hip adduction, right? And then lastly, what we want to be able to do is, now we want to go, we don't run on our side, huh, Coach? No. All right, so what we want to be able to do is just go ahead and we're going to provide, we're going to go ahead and get into a lunge movement right in here. So just from this position, we're going to go ahead and get into lunge movement, go ahead and come through here. Now, what we're going to do is this. I can literally, if you have a buddy at home, all we're going to do is I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to go and push it right in here. Hey, Coach, by the way, keep nice and stiff, hands off. There we go. Do me a favor, make that nice upper body tight squeeze, go ahead and put that hand overhead. There we go. Come on, stay stiff, stay stiff. And if you notice, I'm going to fight through this whole area right in there and go ahead and stand. And let's go ahead and switch sides real quick, Coach. So remember, now this is the more functional thing. If you don't have a buddy, guess what? You can get a band, you're going to put it around, just go opposite, it's going to pull you in here. Remember, what we want to be able to do is, you could static hold, or Coach, go ahead and come up with that leg, or be dynamic. Go ahead, Coach, go back, and go back. Or make this dynamic. You could use a band. I like using a partner because then I can feel how much pressure that I need to be applying it to challenge him. It doesn't have to be an over pressure, but it just has to be enough to be where we're challenging him. Lastly, Coach, do me a favor, go and stand where you're at right now. Right? What we want to be able to do is we're just going to do a single leg standing. Right? Go ahead and stand, standing, and then all he's going to do is going to bend that knee right in here, and he's just going to go ahead and come on up. For us, this is probably the most functional task, especially for running. And go ahead and bend the knee, and go ahead and come on up and hold right there. Put a side bend in that knee, and then all we have to do is, hey, by the way, Coach, get a little bit more vertical.
Yep, I'm good.
Harder than it looks. Remember, we want to be able to be functional, so using a lunge and using a single leg stance with some hip abduction right in there, very, very good, especially at least for a functional task. Sounds good, Coach?
Sounds good.
Anything else? I think we're good. So we showed you 3 different ways to address the iliotibial band syndrome. It's not about using a massage gun. It's not using about massage. It's not using a lacrosse ball, and it's not using anything fancy. It takes long-term work. We need to be able to change the structure of the joint, the flexibility of the muscles. We also need to be able to activation. We also need to have some terms of activation of the hip abductors, the glutes. And then lastly, we need to make sure it's functional, making sure that all the things that we're doing, whether we're lunging, single leg squatting, or single leg standing, either goes back to the idea of what the whole goal of this is to improve running economy and running proficiency and performance. Thank you again for joining us for segment number 12 for our daily maintenance